Hi there, my name is Amanda Lilly and I'm the owner here at the Lily Pad. Today I'd like to demonstrate how to use the Izzy Crochet Hat template tools to crochet a hat, a beanie style hat, into any size using any yarn and any hook that you would like without having to worry about gauge. That's what's great about these template tools, is that you don't have to worry about all of that. It takes the guesswork out of working on a hat and getting to the end and wondering, as you're working, is it going to end up being the right size when I'm done? Because that can be difficult in crochet. So this is what the template sets look like. They come as an 11-piece set. Now this is the 2022 edition. Let me show you some more about what's inside of this package when you get it. It comes with a handy little chart that shows you each template number, what age or size it belongs with, as well as the head circumference, the target head circumference for that person for that size. So then you have the templates here. So this corresponds with all the numbers here, correspond with each one of the 11 templates, the numbered templates here. And so let's say today I'm going to do an example and we're going to work a number 3 to 6 month size hat. So I'm going to need the number 2 template, and we'll get that out in a little bit. But I'll show you, these come with a nice little hook so that you can keep everything organized and keep them all together when you're not working on them. So I'll be working on the number 2. So let's go ahead and get that number 2 off of here. Pull that off. Pull the number 2. I'm going to set the rest of this aside. The template sets also come with an example pattern. I show you how to work the basis of the hat, how to work each of the rows and the rounds, and how to use the templates. So this follows, either you could use single crochet, double crochet, half double crochet. This will work on all of that, but the sample pattern works on half double crochet for the American version. So I'm going to walk through that, and I'm going to walk you through all this today. But just know that these template sets do come with a really nice guide on how to use these. All right, so I know that I'm going to use a number 2 template today, and let me go ahead and get out a hook. Let me choose, I think I'll choose an eye hook today. Let's see, I believe this is an eye. Yes, this is the hook that I want. So we're going to use this, set that aside. And here's the yarn I'm going to choose. This is, I believe, Hobby Lobby's standard. I love this yarn. It's got like a little bit of shimmer to it, but it's just their standard I love this yarn in a really pretty pink color. So I'm going to make a hat for a little baby girl. The way that I'm going to describe here is the way that I generally like to use the templates to make hats and use them as a guide. The pattern calls for making it for a different way of joining the rounds and working on a circle in a hat. So it's going to be a little bit different than the way that I do it, but I'm going to show you the way that I like to do it. This is the way I like to join and make a circle and start my chain off, and how I like to join rounds. So just bear with me. If this doesn't match up to the pattern exactly, that's why. All right, so I like to start just to get the yarn on my hook like that. And I'm going to work today, I'm going to choose double crochet. Let's just choose double crochet. So I'm going to just chain 2, and then I'm going to work 11 more double crochet in here. I'm going to jump, my first chain 2 counts as 1 stitch for me. Okay, let's join together at the top of the original chain 2. Pull it together. However you like to do your first round, that's up to you. A lot of these templates generally work pretty well with most any way that you like to start your first round when you're working a circle. Okay, so let's check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I have 12 stitches. I have slip stitched in the top of my first chain 2. So there's my first round. Now, here's what I'm going to do, even though we don't really need to do it right now, but I'm going to compare this to my template. Now, what we're going to eventually start doing is we're working the crown of the hat. And when we work the crown of the hat, we're working to try to make the diameter of this circle. We're going to be working a flat circle. We're going to try to work on that until the diameter of this is the diameter of the template piece that matches it. So I need to work until this circle is just as wide as this one. So working in just a flat circle, which means with increases. So I'm going to do for the next round, I know I need to keep a flat circle. I need to do 12 more increases. So I'm going to chain 2. I'm going to double crochet into the same stitch I just worked in. That's 2. Okay, now I'm going to work 2 all the way around. And that will make 24 stitches. Okay, I'm going to count 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Oops. Looks like I missed one. 22, 24. Okay, now we join to the top of my chain 2. I got 24 stitches and I still have a flat circle. So comparing, and also another thing you can do, you can always take your string, your tail end from your piece and thread it through the middle so that you know that you're working kind of right in the middle here. So I'm going to compare my diameter. Okay, and I definitely need to keep going. I definitely need to do another flat circle round. So this one I'm going to add another 12 more stitches. So the end of my round, I'll have 36 stitches. So what I do with that is I do my chain 2, and I do another one in the same stitch, and I'll do one in the next one, and then 2 in the next one, and 1 in the next one. I continue around just like that. Okay, I'm going to slip stitch to the end. So I should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 2, 33, 34, 35, 36. I have 36 stitches. Now let's compare. Once again, I'm going to slide this in. How am I looking? Looks like I could probably use one more row. Let's see. But, however, there's a chance that if I make my next row, it may go over a little bit. That's what I'm worried about, actually. So, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and do another 12 additions on this next one, 12 increases, making 48 stitches at the end of the row. But if I get to the end and it's a little big, I may undo it and take a couple of the extra increases out. Because otherwise we might end up with a hat that's too big. Remember, you want to have this be as close to this diameter without going over. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do the next round. So this next round will be 2, or I'll do 2 in the first stitch, and then single, and then 2 in the next stitch. So chain first 2, and this one double crochet, which makes 2 stitches in the first one, and then a single and a single. And I'll repeat that pattern all the way around, and I'll end up with 48 stitches. Okay. And let me give myself a little bit of slack. Let's move my circle out. Now, just like I kind of expected, I thought I was going to be a little bit over, but let's go ahead and slide our string through and double check. Now, let's see, am I over? Just a little bit. You can see it's a little bit bigger than the diameter, which means I'm probably going to, this hat size, or this one is probably going to end up being the next size up, 1 or 2 sizes up. So it means I have done too many stitches, added too many stitches in the previous row. So what I'm going to go back and do, instead I did 12 stitches. Now normally what I normally would have done is I kind of anticipated that was going to happen. So I probably would have just done this before I actually did the row all the way through. But I wanted to show you how the difference can be between whenever you think you might go over to where you actually do and what you need to do. So I'm going to undo this last row and I'm going to redo it. But I'm probably going to take out 3 of the increases. So it means I'm only going to increase 9 times. And I'm just going to evenly spread those 9 increases out. So I'm going to go and just undo the entire row. Because if I just take off the last increases, the last 3 increases I did, it's going to leave the hat looking a little wonky. So it's best if you can take those, the fewer number of decreases, just take everything back and start from the beginning and just take those 9, just do those 9 increases, just spread them out somewhat evenly, rather than just if I had increased everywhere around but then stopped increasing somewhere there and just did straight stitches, I would have ended up with a wonky looking hat. So I'm going to redo this row, but I'm going to do 9 increases spread evenly throughout. Now what I ended up figuring out that to get all of my 9 spread out evenly, to do exactly evenly, even though this was not that important, is that I ended up, I'll show you one second. Let me put this together. Okay. All right, so what it ended up being was I did 2 in the first stitch, and I did 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, and that ended up working out to spread out 9 increases all over. So we ended up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45. 45, which was 3 stitches less than the 48 that we originally did the first time I did this round, which is what we're going for. Now that we're not doing the same number of increases, you can see that my crown is starting to kind of bowl in, which makes it harder to see, have I met my diameter? So what I like to do is I like to just kind of flatten out kind of where I remember, then up to the row that I know has fewer increases. We'll let it bowl in naturally, but I just kind of neatly check it like that. I'm looking pretty good. Now it's not an exact science here, but it looks like it matches up definitely a lot better than it did when this was sitting flat. So I'm going to just kind of go with it, that this is what we're going to go with to end up with the right diameter. But it looks like the crown is right where we need it to be. It matches up with the diameter of the template number 2 that I'm working with. All right, the great news about that, now that I'm done with that, now I get to go on to the next part of the pattern that comes with it, or also just the next part of making a beanie hat, is now that's to the correct diameter that I want for the hat. Now all I have to do is I just work 1 stitch into each stitch around, including the starter stitch. So I have 45 stitches around. That means that for every row from here to the end, I want to be 45 stitches every time. So I'm going to watch my count, make sure all of my counts stay correct. Otherwise, I might end up with a hat that ends up too big or too small. It might end up, angling out on the sides and being bigger than I want, or it might end up caving in this way and being too tight. So if I want it to be the right diameter and stay this same diameter all the way through, I'm going to stick with 48 stitches, so 1 stitch in every stitch around. And then when I know that I'm done, is I'm going to work until the hat, it goes all the way to the bottom of my template. When I've done enough rows to where my hat reaches the bottom of the template, then the hat is the right length for the hat that I'm going for. All right, so let's start off with the next row. The easiest part of the whole thing. Do my chain 2 like I always do. This time I'm just going to go into the next stitch. So that's because that counts as 1. This is the second stitch. I'm going to do 45 stitches all the way around. All right. I finished up my first row that is just single stitches all the way around. I'm doing a slip stitch to join that round. Now let's take a look. So you're going to see that it's going to continue to bowl up because now we're making a hat shape. Hooray! All right, so you can see, I need to trim that off. My pair of scissors. Get rid of that. Okay, you can see it's now starting to take the shape of a hat, which is awesome. So I'm going to compare it to here. Now, I do want to point out one thing, that this shape of the template is not going to be the shape of the hat itself, okay? So if I put this on the inside, it looks, oh goodness, that looks like it's too wide. Do not worry about that. That is not important at all. What that is this is just, remember, we're now working to length. This just only showed you the diameter of the crown. It's not going to show you the diameter of the finished hat, which is going to be wider. It's only going to be the diameter of the crown. And we're only focusing now on the length of the hat. So I know I need to do several more rows. So I'm going to do those rows. I'm going to catch back up with you once I get to the bottom, and we'll go from there. All right. I think we've come to the correct length. Let's take a check. Let's see how close we are. Okay. Give me some slack there. Okay. Let's see. How are we doing here? There we go. That's close enough. Now, the length is not nearly as important as getting the crown just right, but this is on the length here. You can definitely get close enough. Now, I have enough space here. If I wanted to, I could do like a layer of single crochet all the way around, do that for a row if I'd like to, just to have a nice finishing touch, or you could leave it there as is. And there you have it. We have now finished our baby-sized 2 to 3 months hat using the Babé Crochet Izzy Crochet hat tools. It was so easy. We finished it. We know it's the right length and it's going to be the right diameter to fit their head just perfectly. It was so easy. And once again, I did this using any yarn and a hook, whichever one I chose, and I did not have to worry about gauge. I did not even use my tape measure even once. All right, so I'm so glad you joined me for this today. If you're interested in where you can get your own set of the Izzy Crochet hat tools, the Lily Pad, my shop, is an authorized dealer for them. I sell primarily to the U.S. and Canada, Australia, and Central and South America. That's generally the areas that I can ship to most cost effectively. If you are located in Europe or in the UK or across Asia, you can also check out and buy them directly from Babé Crochet on their website. And I'm going to put my website and the Babé Crochet website up here. Definitely be sure to come check them out on our websites. If you have any more questions, please feel free to reach out and ask. I'm happy to help. And the owner of Babé Crochet, Isabel, she is always happy to help as well. We hope that this tool actually works really well for you and that it helps you crochet hats and not have to spend all of your time measuring and guessing, is it going to be the right size? So, thanks for joining me today. If you like this video, hit that subscribe button so that you can get more from the Lily Pad.